Good morning, friends, and welcome back. You can see I am not in my house or my studio or even my yard. We are camping, and today is actually the last day, packing up, heading home, but I wanted to share with you some of my tips or the steps I take when I'm planning to sew away from home, so planning to transport my machines and my projects and everything, and sew in a place that isn't my regular sewing space. So with the summer, a lot of you might be camping or visiting family or just doing any sort of traveling, and it's sometimes you want to take your sewing stuff, sometimes you have to if you have a deadline approaching. So these are some ways that I find it easier to take your sewing with you without taking your entire sewing studio. So the first thing I do is I make a list of what projects I want to get accomplished, and I like to stick to a very reasonable number of projects, and then I'll add in one more that's like, okay, if it's a lot of rainy days or whatever, I might have more sewing time, so I'll take that extra project. And when I'm considering which projects to take, I like to take things that I've either sewn before. So in this time, I think everything I've sewn was things I've sewn before other than the shorts, because that was, I rubbed off that pattern and that is new, but it's very simple. So those are all things that I've taken or made before. So I have anything but basic tee for my son for pajamas, and then 2 pairs of sleep shorts using a ready-to-wear pair of sleep shorts that I just copied the pattern of. And then I have a tank top for myself, and that is the Hala Stardust tank, and then a pair of Feel Pretty shorts, and then a bow top is what I went with this time. So once I have that all figured out, then I go ahead and cut the fabric. So obviously I have this fabric in my stash. I went ahead, cut all the pieces and even elastics and anything that I would need for that project, and I just kind of folded them all up nicely and put them aside. And then I went ahead and decided what do I need for those projects in terms of thread or like a bodkin or stuff like that. So then I packed everything I needed into one little box, and that was everything I had. So I have in there pins, I have a little pair of scissors, a large pair of scissors which I probably didn't need, and I had my clips, and extra needles is a big one. You also want to make sure you take some scrap fabric if you're going to be needing to do tests, which I definitely like to have, especially for my cover stitch machine. And I also just stuck in like a fabric pen and kind of limited myself to this little box, so whatever I could fit in there that I might be needing, I stuck in there. To be honest, I didn't do a lot of sewing this week. I got the pajamas done for my son and the knit tank top done for myself, and that was about it. I started sewing, you'll see here, I started sewing the shorts, but I did not get anything done. I just did a few seams on there, and that's maybe a good thing because we spent a lot of time outside, which is exactly what we want for camping. Of course, you can set up and sew outside with your sewing machine. I have done that before. Didn't do it this time. We just didn't have great weather, so I didn't haul my machine and everything outside. But it is definitely possible. Most RVs and campers have a plug-in near the door somewhere, and you can set up your picnic table or whatever you have and just sew outside. So I had that all packed up, I stuck it in my car, and we brought it down here, and then I had to find spaces for it. So that is the other thing about camping sewing, is you don't have a ton of space, or maybe you do, I don't know. This camper we're staying in is my father-in-law's. It has ample storage, so I wasn't worried about that. The only thing was I brought 3 machines, so I brought my cover stitch, my serger, and my sewing machine, and none of them could fit together. I had to put them all in 3 different spaces, as you'll see throughout this video, which was fine with me. You likely won't be taking 3 machines. I did because I'm crazy. I did end up using them all. I had a lot of fun finding spaces for things, and it worked out okay. But if you have under the bed storage, I think that would be the best spot for the machines. if you're okay with laying them down. My serger could fit standing up, so I stuck that in there. My cover stitch could not fit in there at all, and then the sewing machine I had already put somewhere else, so I didn't bother moving it. I would have had to lay her down too in there, which it's not my favorite thing to do, but I don't think there's a problem with laying a sewing machine down gently and everything. But yeah, so I hope those help you. The other thing I just want to say is, like, don't put too much pressure on yourself if you're like away for fun. You don't want to be like pressured to sew or feel like you have to sew. So that's kind of why I don't take too many projects, and then I don't feel like really guilty if I miss out. And yeah, other than that, just enjoy being in a different space. You don't need a lot of space to sew, and you don't need a lot of things. So if you can prepare as much as you can before you go, then you'll be better set up for when you, and there'll be less stress and less like worry. So if you can cut all your stuff at home and you don't have to drag that kind of stuff and find that kind of space, I think that is the biggest thing in preparation. And then of course just having like bobbins and thread and needles and everything you could need, so that if something were to happen where you break a needle or your thread runs out or whatever, you have a backup.
Break a needle.
What?
Break a needle.
Break a needle. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you liked watching it. It was kind of fun to make. So enjoy your summer, and I'll catch you in the next video. And if you are going to be sewing anywhere outside of your home this year, please give this video a big thumbs up, and I will catch you on Thursday. Right now, I gotta pack this place up because we're going home.